how did the Eugene character become a thing? Because obviously you were wrestling as yourself for so long, you get brought up, you're in OVW, you're in WCW, you've done a lot already. And then suddenly someone flips the switch on you and changes you completely. How is the development of the Eugene character?
So one of the trainers I had at OVW in Louisville, Kentucky, was the hustler Rip Rogers. Rip's son was probably 3, 4, 5 years old at the time, and he brought an idea of a character to me. His son has autism. Now the kid's like valedictorian of his high school, I think, and he's in college doing great. But Rip kind of gave me the idea. What about a character much like Rain Man that might not be very sociable, might not be able to tie his shoes correctly, but the minute the bell rings, he can do everything he's seen on TV flawlessly. Idiot savant of wrestling.
Mm.
So I pitched that idea to the agents when they would come down to Louisville. We have one come down every week, and I pitched it to guys like Dean Malenko and Fit Finley and Arn Anderson. They said, no, wrestling's gone beyond that. We are more reality based now. Okay. So I pocketed the idea. This is probably mid to late 2003. A couple months later, some of the writers came down, which the writers didn't come down frequently. So everybody was trying to get some time with them. So I pitched this character to the writers. Oh, Vince would never do that. Okay, well, put that idea back. I saw a lot of guys in Louisville complain, and then they would get called up. The squeaky wheel gets the oil was playing out right in front of me, so I thought, maybe I'll try it. So I told my friend Doug Basham, who was one half of the Basham brothers, I said, Doug, I think I'm going to quit and try to go to Japan. But I didn't know anybody in Japan. I would have no idea how to get there. I was living at home, like in my hometown. I was a top baby face or top heel in angles in my hometown on TV, so I had it pretty good. But I just wanted to see what would happen. So Doug tells Dean Malenko, Dean tells Johnny Ace. Next thing I know, February 2004, I'm sitting in a meeting with Vince McMahon and Stephanie. Vince goes, I want to get back to character-based wrestling. And I just spit out that idea. Right after that, Stone Cold Steve Austin walks in. Vince goes, Steve, have you ever seen this kid wrestle? No, I don't think I have. I said, well, Nightmare Danny Davis trained me because I knew my trainer, Danny Davis, and Austin had become friends in the Dallas territory years and years ago. And Austin kind of looks up and goes, well, he's probably one of the best. And it was like that vote of confidence from Austin and Vince, like, all right, we'll start on Monday. We didn't actually start the following Monday, but the wheels were in motion.
Wow. So really complaining a little bit got you in the door.
Yeah. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. I tell it to anybody I train now. It's like, you have to do it properly and do it nicely and just, you vent a little bit and put it out there, and on the flip side, you have to put out what you want in the universe so that you can attract it.
It's interesting you say that. I don't know why it's inspired my brain for a second, but if you look over the years, I remember hearing a story about Bobby Heenan. And Bobby Heenan never said anything bad about the WWF when he was in WCW. But Mean Gene did. Hulk Hogan did. Kevin Nash did. Scott Hall did. What do those people have in common? They all got brought back. Bobby Heenan did not. He was back for like one night when WCW got bought a week before. But yeah, that's very interesting that you bring that up. That you just by complaining a little bit enough to get an earful, and suddenly you're in the room. And Steve Austin, obviously, you must contribute a lot of your success to him being there and being friends with your trainer.
Yeah, it was a very fortunate situation. Like I've shaken Steve's hand. I really can't say that I know him, but he was at the right place. I was in the right place at the right time, and he just happened to walk by and give me that vouch of confidence or whatever that they decided to go with it. I don't think that they really thought the character was going to work. But
why do you think that?
I felt like it was like, okay, let's give this kid a shot. He's been in the developmental system for 7 years. It's either, do your business or get off the pot time, So it's like they do that to a lot of characters just to see if it's going to pan out. But the writer, Brian Gerwick, who wrote a lot of the Rock stuff, I think wrote most of the Rock stuff, knew how to write for Eugene. And it was his brilliant writing that put me in a good place, being Eric Bischoff's nephew, and teaming me with William Regal, and it was a perfect odd couple. And it just really panned out. And every time they had me do something on TV, because I had so much experience, and I've been in wrestling for some time, it was easy to just hit a home run every time. I felt like I don't like to brag, but that's what every time I went out, it got more over and more popular, and more things happened. So it was just I don't know, the 10-year overnight success, you might say.
I think that character had so much going on, being involved with Evolution and Chris Benoit and main event stars. It wasn't like you were a background character, because you were a comedic character, obviously, but you weren't just fighting the lower tier guys. You were in storylines with everybody who was working. Randy Orton, Batista, Ric Flair. It's not like you were in the bottom. Yeah, Kurt Angle, another person you took on as well. But I guess in at the time, nobody said anything about the Eugene character, because did you find that some fans in today's world look back at Eugene and go, well, that's offensive? Like,
nobody has told at any time now or then has told me that the character is offensive. Some people nowadays might say, well, you can't get away with that anymore. Right. But I disagree, because WWE is the master of putting something out there and making it right and making the people go, oh, I realize now, yes, it's okay.